Good afternoon. We're here outside the Hong Kong Polytechnic University where protesters have set up roadblocks. We're on the intersection of Chatham Road South and Cheung Wan Road. You can see traffic is flowing on the opposite side of the road, but of course because of these roadblocks, mainly made out of prized bricks from the pavement, this road over here, the traffic is not flowing. You can see a protester here smashing up the bricks, trying to create as many roadblocks as possible. Now this comes as the city marks its 4th consecutive day of unrest, and this is a scene repeated throughout universities in Hong Kong, most notably at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, which on Tuesday was the site of fierce battles between protesters and police. Now of course we haven't seen that kind of clash at Hong Kong PolyU yet today, but certainly protesters have replicated some of their tactics. We'll just take a tour of the university to see what kind of barricades they're setting up. Now the traffic lights were recently broken by protesters. You can see up top there, protesters have formed a row of open umbrellas, presumably to conceal those who are standing behind the wall. And these trolleys are being used to ferry bricks over to the intersection. Now we can't see a police presence on this side of the campus. Now many of the police officers are stationed in Central right now, and we've seen multiple riot police over in Central. Now it's worth remembering that when riot police come to conduct a clearance operation of any protest site, they first have to clear the roads of any debris to allow any other advancing officers to proceed forward. And so this is one of the reasons why protesters have set up these kind of barricades to prevent riot police from advancing forward. You can see there is a piece of plastic tubing which has metal nails sticking out of it. And this could be to puncture the tyres of any police vehicles driving through. Now, in recent weeks, we've seen the emergence of one particular heavy-duty police vehicle that is able to kind of plough through minor bits of debris. And that's something that the water cannon trucks cannot do. Now, the water cannon trucks are, of course, known for spraying the blue dye on protesters. You can see a major operation underway here. Protesters prizing those bricks off with relative ease. You can see them just picking them up. We'll take a look inside the campus as well. And our barricade has been formed here, using chairs and other kinds of objects. So we've just been turned away by a protester who said that we can't go through this way. Of course, other students are being allowed through. Now, just to recap what's happened over the past 4 days, now public anger has been ignited by the shooting of a young protester on Monday morning, and he was shot with live ammunition by a police officer. Now, this cling film is quite common in many of the protests. It's been used for weeks, but it's essentially meant to prevent, of course, police officers and cars from driving through. Currently at Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Polytechnic University in Hongkong. And up there you can see a plastic barrier that has been spray painted "Free CUHK," and that is a reference to what I mentioned before, and that's the clashes in Chinese University of Hong Kong on Tuesday. Now there's a kind of a smell of maybe some gas, some petrol, or some kind of chemical that can be ignited. Now, students or protesters here, they seem to be conducting some kind of search, body search, and this is also replicated at CUHK. And this is kind of interesting. This is a new development in the protest movement. Protesters searching the bags of journalists and bystanders alike. Now, it's unclear what they're actually searching for. This might potentially be to arm against any undercover cops. Now, of course, we're just going to go ahead with this just so we can take a better look at the campus. So one of the protesters just said that she would like to check my bags. So I'm just currently having my bag checked by a protester. So that was a very interesting experience, having a body check and a bag check done by a protester. Of course, protesters across university campuses have reclaimed the campus as their own. Now, many of these schools have suspended their classes and even prematurely ended their terms, which are meant to end for roughly another 2 weeks. So some protesters there taking a rest inside the PolyU vehicle. Now, of course, any attempt to infiltrate the campus internally will be very difficult given just how many barricades there are. It's difficult to even walk through the campus, let alone drive. It's worth noting that PolyU, because it's in Hong Kong, has many different entrances. It's very easy to perforate. Now, interestingly, there is a brick wall, multiple bricks that I assume have been prized off the ground, but have now been pasted together with what looks like what could be concrete or some kind of other adhesive substance. Also, it's worth noting that concrete dries within the matter of hours, so if there's a police raid, then it'll be very easy to break through that wall. Now we're just stuck behind a kind of long line of people. Some tables being zip tied together using plastic zip ties. So there appears to be an older man helping the protesters form some kind of well using a spade and some kind of sand. So this kind of shows that although the demographic of protesters is primarily young, many of whom are students, other people of course are willing to help, and they're forming a well with that. Someone has just rightly pointed out that I said concrete instead of cement used to stick the bricks together, so just like to issue a correction there. For the time being, it just seems to be duplicated scenes, so protesters transporting bricks. So for the time being, we're just going to end the live stream, and if there's any further action, check out our website, Facebook and Twitter for rolling updates and more. Thank you.